Good morning and welcome to Thursday, June 6, 1997. And the question of the hour is, who turned on the faucet? I'll tell you what, it has been pouring, I know, down in Cookeville for the past, 12 hours or so. I was eating in Chili's last night and just watching the rain come down in sheets. And it was rather cozy in there, actually, watching it all come down like that. Taking a look at our current conditions, it is rainy throughout the area, ranging from light rain to mist to outright deluge city. Temperatures averaging about 60 degrees, 59 or 60. Humidity is 93%, and the barometer is at 29.92 inches and steady. As we take a look now, we are looking at some news headlines, and of course the big story is the Timothy McVeigh trial. A rescuer has explained the Oklahoma City bombing trial jury of feeling a woman's life slip away as he held her hand. Look for more dramatic testimony today as prosecutors make their case for the death penalty for Timothy McVeigh. Authorities are making strides in recovering weapons and ammunition stolen from an FBI vehicle in Memphis. Yesterday, police recovered some of the grenades and a rifle ammunition when they searched a home in North Memphis. More than a dozen assault weapons and thousands of rounds of ammunition remain missing. Pasta and politics for President Clinton and German Chancellor Helmut Kohl. The two leaders dined at an Italian restaurant in Washington last night and discussed U.S.-German relations. Kohl is in the U.S. to mark the 50th anniversary of the Marshall Plan. And Saturn is once again at the top of the heap when it comes to buyer satisfaction. But an annual survey by J.D. Power and Associates shows German automakers are catching up. Mercedes is number 2 in the survey, followed by Porsche and BMW. Well, as we continue, we are talking about more rain, unfortunately. As we look at our map, we can see what's happening. There is if we could see the jet stream, we'd see a great big circle, like a wagon train circled up, going around the northern part of Kentucky, around the outsides of Tennessee, and down through Georgia and Alabama and Mississippi over there, and back up through, barely touching the western end of North Carolina and South Carolina. And it just keeps looping round and round and round and keeping on dropping rain, and we're surrounded by high pressures, but poor high pressures don't have a chance for that rain coming over us. As looking at our forecast today, we can expect to say 70% chance of showers with possibly a thunderstorm here or two. High will only be near 70 degrees, which is the good side of it. Tonight, 60% chance of showers likely, possibly a thunderstorm, lows in the 50s. Friday, 60% chance of showers likely, possibly a thunderstorm with high around 70 degrees. And then Friday night, mostly cloudy in our area, lows near 60 degrees. And Saturday, the rain is out of there. We are talking about partly cloudy with highs in the mid-70s. If one's going to be out and about, that's the great day to do it. Sunday, there is a chance of showers, but notice we only have 3 raindrops, and we'll probably see sun coming through there, even though we don't show it on our graphic. And Monday will be partly cloudy with low of 60, high of 76, and the hay may actually start drying out a little bit. I would say and advise people not to rent their goats for chopping down the hay right away. You may be able to get by a few more days without them. In the world of sports, of course, it's doubles. The Chicago Bulls allowed just 11 points in the second quarter and grabbed a 2-0 lead in the NBA Finals by downing the Jazz 97-85. Michael Jordan barely missed a triple-double, getting 20 of his 38 points by halftime and finishing with 13 rebounds and 9 assists. And Dallas Cowboys wide receiver Michael Irvin says he's unhappy with his life and may retire from football. Irvin has stayed away from the team's quarterback camp this week and says he currently doesn't have the intensity and the emotion for the game. And we trust Mr. Irvin feels better. It's always a pleasure to see fine talent out on the field, and hope he can get through this problem time. And we invite you to stay with us as we have a special guest this morning. Interesting, it's Mr. McKinley Tabor, and he is from Crossville, and he is heading up the CRISP project in Crossville. And as I mentioned yesterday, you have to stay with us, because if I personally tell you what it's about, someone will have to kill you. So stay with us on DayStart. McKinley Tabor will tell us personally what the CRISP project is all about. Stay with us on DayStart. And this portion of DayStart is brought to us by America's Home Place with Benny Hambrick, building consultant. You can call him at 526-6140 or just stop by the Darwin Mall on 25 West Broad in Cookeville. And by TCS Technologies, they are located at the Computer Source, which is at 120 West Jackson in Cookeville, and you can call them at 526-8922. Oh, wow, we are back already. And again, unfortunately, we are looking at a 60 to 80% chance of rain throughout the day. In fact, I'd probably say we'd have to make that a 100% chance because it's already been raining in several of the areas throughout the region. Daytime highs today will be a little bit on the cool side, as we can expect temperatures of 67 in Salina, Birdstown, and Oneida, 68 in Gainsboro, Livingston, Allens, Alpine, Jamestown, 68 in Cookeville, Monterey, and Crossville. And as we continue this morning, we are visiting with Mr. McKinley Tabor. Pleasure to have you on, sir.
Thank you, sir.
And you are heading up the CRISP project, and this has been an area of mystery for the past several days of exactly what this CRISP project is. Is this government related?
No, the CRISP project is not government related. We're a private corporation in Crossville, Tennessee, a division of Micro Enterprises of Crossville. We are a privately owned internet business providing internet service to companies and personal accounts in just the Crossville area. We're not a big advertiser because our main push is the corporate side of the internet. We want to provide internet access to businesses such as Avery Dennison and the hospital, but we don't turn away personal accounts, and we find it a source of pride to help people get onto the internet, teach them about the internet, beat the learning curve, and get them online.
What does CRISP exactly stand for?
The CRISP is an acronym, Crossville Internet Solutions Provider.
Okay, well that explains it all then. So we do not need to wear dark sunglasses, don't need to have our shoulder holster?
No guns in here.
Okay, very good. And okay, so you are specifically industry focused with the internet service, and of course there's an enormous wealth of information out there. The key is figuring out what it is and how to access it to be most beneficial for industry use, and this is an interesting field. In fact, we're getting a little bit into it at our plant down at Thomas Industries. We're just on the bare outside edges of it, and it's kind of like, okay, we know there's stuff out there that we need to know, but we don't know what to look for or how to get at it, and we don't know exactly what it is we're even looking for, but we know it's there to be gotten. It's kind of like we know what we don't know, and we don't know what we don't know. That, if you're familiar with that Venn diagram.
Yes.
Okay, so exactly what type of services might you be providing with this?
Well, the internet, one of the biggest misconceptions with the internet is that whenever you get online, that you're just accessing the World Wide Web or email. Actually, when you get online through a local ISP, such as or in the Cookeville area you have multipro.com or Into the Net or Images on the Net, which is the oldest. When you get into this field, when you get to the internet, you actually develop a network connection. You are an active participating part of the internet and access to a lot of services. World Wide Web, you have access to email, internet relay chat, you have access to Usenet news groups. And with this connection, you can participate in not only being an active user of the internet, but you can also be an online provider, such as having your own web page. That develops the client-server side of the internet, where you have users seeking information and servers providing it.
Okay, and of course this is an enormously burgeoning field because a lot of people are discovering this and a lot of people are discovering, wow. And I think at this point it'll probably take a lifetime to try and get around everything there is, and as soon as you did, there'd be 100 more things. I don't know how fast new websites come on, but I imagine it's hundreds per day.
Literally hundreds per day. If you were to sit down every day with the internet for 8 hours, you would never get through all the online content in 2 lifetimes. Some of it's good, some of it's trash, but the large majority of what's on the internet is interesting information that is anything from how to make Swiss biscuits all the way to making pipe bombs.
Oh, well, okay, and pipe bombs, aha! Aha! I knew CRISP had something to do with that. There go the glasses again. Okay, what are some of the misconceptions about the internet?
Well, one of the largest misconceptions people find about the internet is that there's nothing on there of any value. I find that when I talk to a lot of people that they're worried about pornography on the internet, they're worried about what their kids are going to get to on the internet. And when you look at the internet as a whole, when you use the internet, pornographic images are not going to pop up on your screen. Your children are unlikely to stumble upon things of a risque nature. Just like watching television nowadays or going into a bookstore, if parents monitor their children, monitor what they're doing, there's really no risk of having their children get into something that they shouldn't be.
Right, and I mean, what I've personally told people with teenage kids, because they're the ones that would probably be most intrigued and most curious, is it's just like walking, a perfect analogy, walking into a store or a bookstore. It's there, and if you want to look at it, you can, but you have to make a choice there for yourself. I mean, that's addressing the teenager.
Yes.
You know, and don't encourage you to, but I mean, you know, I can't be here babysitting all the time. But for younger children, there are blocks, I think. I mean, you can buy programs that block them.
Yeah, Net Nanny, Surf Watch, various programs such as that nature.
Surf Watch isn't like Babe Watch. I mean, Babe Watch.
No.
Oh, okay. Okay, we have to take a quick break here as we are visiting with Mr. McKinley Tabor of Crossville, and he is representing the CRISP organization in Crossville. And we invite you to stay with us as he is giving us some very timely and factual information about internet services at a local level. And this portion of DayStart is brought to us by Crystal. Right now they have 2 TV28 specials. The number 1, which is 2 corn puffs, small fry, medium drink for just $3.29, or the number 2, which is 8 crystals for $3.49. And you can stop by 520 South Jefferson in Cookeville or 1001 North Main in Crossville and tell them you want the 28 special. And by EB Gray Jewelry. We visited with Mrs. Harris yesterday, and they are your source for fine diamonds and jewelry and have been since 1914. They're on West Court Square in Livingston. We are back, and again, we're looking at a 50 to 60% chance of rain for tonight. Temperatures will be a little bit on the cooler side. 56 in Salina, Birdstown, 57 Cookeville, All Good, Baxter, 57 in Monterey and Wartburg, 57 in Sparta, Quebec, Doyle, 58 in Spencer, McMinnville, and of course 57 in Crossville, where our guest McKinley Tabor is from. I knew some Tabors down in Texas. You don't have any kin down there, do you?
They're all over the place.
Tabors are every place?
Yeah.
Okay, and so we were talking about misconceptions of the internet, and of course the big fear, what is well publicized, is the porn on the net, the pornography on the net, and of course that's a minute fraction of everything that's out there. Most people are not out there to put porn on the net. I'm a musician, and I found some fascinating stuff. I have an old Fender bass and an old Fender tube amplifier, and I typed in Fender on it and said, what can you tell me? And it took me, and it gave me dates of when it was made, and this, that, and the other thing. It was really interesting, very intriguing. And they have a neat web page. You put it on the volume or the tone or the treble or the reverb switch to get your information. It's really creative how they did that. Now, something that our floor director, Julie, asked us is, can kids do homework or get homework assistance or something like that off the internet?
Roughly 25% of my client base is children. Kids actually paying for their own internet account, which they're utilizing hopefully for schoolwork. I get a lot of letters from people asking questions about where can I find specific amounts of information on various topics. In fact, even in the college realm, you can actually download whole term papers from the internet, although...
that would be very unethical.
Very unethical.
Yes. So we don't encourage that type of behavior, especially for college students out there that might be listening, or even in the control room, for instance. You know, there might be college students over there.
No.
Yeah, it would be wrong. Okay, and so the school children, what type of questions would they be asking or calling you up and asking you about?
Well, normally when people contact me, they contact me via email, and they ask questions such as, if I'm looking for information on biology, what types of websites are out there available for biology? What types of websites out there that are dedicated to specific math issues such as geometry, trigonometry? And there are quite a bit of, especially college-based websites and college-based websites that are produced by college students that are going into the teaching field that produce whole lesson plans on the internet. And the best way to reach those would be through a search engine. Search engines are out on the internet. They're indexing sites that make money off advertising. And with an indexer, you enter in a certain term, such as cats. And by entering that term, it will bring up all the web pages on the internet with the word cats on them.
Okay, so if a person wanted to know all about cats, they could just type in cats on the search engine, tell it to go, and it goes out there looking for it.
Or anything else they're looking for.
Okay, and I know MIT, Massachusetts Institute of Technology, has huge websites on the internet that people tap into all the time. I mean, a lot of specific information about specific things. I mean, and they have, I know that because they have industrial applications too out there, because they work on developing industry, you know, at a college level, you know, for the rest of us mortals out here. Excuse me, what are some of the services of the internet specifically?
Well, specifically, the services, when you talk about services, you're looking at either World Wide Web, email, Usenet. Those are the major ones. IRC is a major internet service. But in the world of the internet, you can actually, if there's a server providing that information and that server has a staff that has written a program that gets information from that server. You can have programs that get weather, news, headline news, such as CNN, MSNBC produces such a program. Of course, Microsoft, the big one. So services out there on the internet are as unlimited as these 50 to 60 million people that are out there.
Well, at home, I know when there's big breaking weather storms coming through the area, I can tap directly into the Weather Channel. And I mean, they have a website.
www.weather.com, I believe.
And they have pictures, and you put it on the picture you want to click, and then it brings it up for you. It brings all the information up on that. And it even gives you current radar images if you click it on the city you want. And their closest city is Louisville for this area. And they have one down in Atlanta too, but they recommend Louisville. Okay, what would a person do? I mean, how would a person get about getting started? Because there's a lot of folks out there probably watching right now that know it's out there, but they're scared because they're going to go home and they're going to plug up some software, they're going to plug into a phone, and a screen's going to come up, and they're saying, now what do I do?
I would highly recommend going with a local provider instead of a national online service. Like I mentioned, the local providers earlier, they can best help you in that they are a person that can answer the telephone, such as in Crossville, the CRISP project, where we're there to answer your questions, talk to you about the internet. With that, you're provided with software that will interact with your computer modem to call a local phone number so that there are no toll charges that are accrued by your phone bill. Once you're online, you can go anywhere. Just because you get online with CRISP does not mean that you cannot go to Images on the Net and vice versa. So whereas Images on the Net produces an excellent Cookeville site, the CRISP project produces a Crossville site, and you can get to either one from either service.
And okay, we need to take a quick break here. Again, we're visiting with McKinley Tabor, and when we come back, we need to talk a little bit about the email services, because a lot of people have no idea what you can do with an email or even a chat room. So as we continue with McKinley Tabor talking about the CRISP project in Crossville and the internet, stay with us as we continue DayStart. And this portion of DayStart is brought to us by Eagle Medical Equipment with 3 local locations to serve you, one in Cookeville, one in Livingston. Call them at 800-343-3148. And by Crystal with their 2 TV28 specials, and you can stop by 520 South Jefferson in Cookeville or 1001 North Main in Crossville and tell them you want the 28 special. I got this tickle.
How's it going?
Good.
Okay.
Yeah, it's going fast.
At this point, normally when I'm giving internet seminars, there's a blackboard, and it really gives...
We are back, and guess what we're going to do today? Something very, very special. We have this really, really neat, bright, colorful knapsack, and inside of this knapsack, we have not 1, not 2, not 3, but 4 sing-along tapes, and we got them all here. We got Friends, Being Happy, Another Being Happy, and Searching for Your Dreams. So you get 2 Being Happies. We're going to switch one of them out, I think. And these are really neat tapes, and they all come in this bag. And do you know what? Everyone that's been winning has been qualifying at the same time for this. Plus, you don't have to carry them in this bag. This bag's got zippers all over the place. Michael Jackson would be proud. Zipper there. This thing just comes entirely off. It's got Velcro on it. That is too cool. It's got a zipper here, and nothing's in that little pouch. Okay, and we're going to draw for this now, and we've asked our guest, Mr. McKinley Tabor, if he would draw for this bag with these 4 tapes, and we're going to see who's going to win this thing, and everyone who's been playing has qualified to win this. Okay, Mr. Tabor. All righty. Okay, and the winner is...
Gino Whitaker of 256 South Walnut, Cookeville, Tennessee.
Wow. Okay, Gina Whitaker. No, Glenn.
Glenn Whitaker. Oh,
Glenn Whitaker. Okay, Glenn Whitaker. Congratulations, Glenn. This bag is yours, and you're going to have some really cool times with this. Got lots of pockets, and of course, you got all the videos, not just one. So, congratulations. Way to go. And thank you for drawing for us this morning, Mr. Tabor. All right. Okay, and we are talking about, of course, the internet. Email is a really neat thing because, number 1, there's no postage. Number 2, you can write as long letters as you want, and you can actually be almost real time with it. You don't have, there's no 3-day turnaround. I wonder if the Postal Service is aggravated with email.
I would imagine so. With email, you can send messages from your computer around the world. It's quite literally, it's been stated to me that over 50% of all transactions on the internet are actually email transactions. The way an email address breaks down is, this is where you get the @ symbol on the internet. You have a username at a computer, such as my email address, so people can now write me messages, is CAO @ hyphen Cumberland.net. That is a user, CAO, which is Chief Administration Officer, at Upper Cumberland.net, my particular service.
Wow. Okay, so people can get in touch with you from anywhere in the world.
Correct.
Where have you talked to people? How far away?
I've been in touch with people from Cookeville, Crossville, Nashville. Those are, of course, the majority of my communications. Although I do keep up a correspondence with people in Kuwait City, as far away as Moscow. We have a missionary team that is in Moscow right now, that their only link back to Crossville is through email. So that's how they keep in touch.
And I can imagine the long-distance phone calls would be huge, and yet their local internet service calls, they can write a letter every night.
Yes.
And it doesn't cost anything.
It'll get anywhere in the world within 30 seconds.
Wow. Wow, that's pretty fast. And that's really neat. Now, what happens if I turn my computer off, though, and someone types me a letter?
What happens is, email is not kept locally on your machine. It is stored on a server, a mail server, a POP3 server. And when an email message is sent, it's kind of like coming to your post office box. It's there until you go to the post office to get it.
Wow. And then you can download it.
Right.
Wow.
And with email, you can attach files, such as picture files. So if you're separated from your wife and kids in Russia, you can send pictures to each other and communicate that way, so that it's a little bit more personal.
So you can say, man, and it can be as long as you want.
Yes.
No extra charge.
Hundreds of thousands of pages.
Wow, that's a big letter. You could spend all day long typing that thing, unless you just want to pull on a bunch of different things from other things, because you can attach lots of things. So it's like you can attack whole suitcases full of email on one letter.
Right.
Wow, that's pretty impressive. We again still have to talk about chat rooms, because they're pretty neat places to go to, but we again have to take a break. This is going so fast this morning. We are visiting with McKinley Tabor from the CRISP project in Crossville, Tennessee, and basically talking about internet services available locally. Stay with us on DayStart. And this portion of DayStart is brought to us by Winnell Lee Specialty Hardwoods and Molding. They are located at 1500 Interstate Drive in Cookeville. And by Leigh Simpson Furniture. They're the ones with the recliners that just make you say, ah. And they have a beautiful showroom to let you experience them. Call them at 823-6447 or just stop by in Livingston. Easy to find, and they've been a family tradition since 1920. And looking at that 4-day forecast, again, a few showers Friday. Friday night will be just mostly cloudy. And Saturday, we probably see a little bit more sunshine than what we're showing there. Saturday will probably look more like the Monday graphic. And then Sunday, a possibility of rain, but we're hoping it's going to be just partly cloudy and a scattered shower here and there. And then Monday will be clearing and drying up again. Daytime highs will be in the low to mid 70s. Overnight lows will be lingering around the top end of the 50s. And as we continue DayStart, we are still visiting with McKinley Tabor with the CRISP project in Crossville, Tennessee. Where did I get Tendersea? I'm thinking of the tender raindrops falling down right now, I guess.
It is raining.
Yes, it is. It's quite wet, too. I've noticed that. We're talking about internet services and different things. And could you tell us about a chat room? And what is a chat room? And what is it all about?
IRC is where you can collect info. It involves a specialized program such as MIRC or Perch, which logs into an internet relay chat server. Now, those servers are located throughout the internet and located on major backbones such as FNet, DALNet, ChatNet. Microsoft supports their own. But with this, you can get on and you declare yourself a nickname, such as my nickname is Raccoon, and I get on and I can talk to people in real time, text-type conversations with people all over the world. You get into various channels or rooms where anyone from one person to 20 people or 100 people can be in there discussing one topic, and then you usually meet in these rooms and then branch off into specializations. For example, one of my hobbies is I'm a scuba diver, so I go to the channel Scuba, where I meet various friends of mine, and we discuss local dive sites, popular places to go, and you maintain literally online relationships, and people have fallen in love and gotten married over this thing. So.
Oh my. In the chat room.
Yeah.
And the idea is if you were a scuba diver, you wouldn't go into a chat room on guitars.
Well,
unless you're a guitar player too.
You can go anywhere you want. You can start your own chat room, and when you go in there, you declare a topic, and you just hope somebody drops in by your chat room, or you go into a very popular one on the FNet backbone, which is the one primarily associated with colleges, is the channel chat or chat zone, where people will meet and then they will go off into private chat sessions where they carry on their own two-way conversation.
And how would two people get into that private chat session and not have someone else intrude on them?
Well, that brings us into the internet privacy issue. There is really no privacy. That's why you should never, ever give your credit card number out over the internet. Somebody is always monitoring. And somebody can monitor your email, somebody can monitor what you're saying on the internet very easily. So you want to be careful with what kind of information about yourself you give out. And just like if you were talking to somebody in the Cookeville Mall, you want to be careful who you talk to, what you tell about yourself. Just because you're the only two people in a particular room does not mean that an administrator somewhere is watching you, or that your ex-boyfriend's dropping in on your conversation.
Well, your ex-boyfriend.
Well, or girlfriend.
Okay, whatever. Well, now some of the websites encourage a person to give out their credit card on the internet. I mean, if you want to buy a service or whatever, what would be the right way to deal with that?
Well, there are what are known as secure transaction servers, which utilize public key rings, technology, encryption, that are marginally safe, but it's not a perfected science yet. If you give your credit card out over the internet, you are looking at a 10% probability of it being picked up, and that's including the fact that it's being transferred over a secure server. Internet and online shopping is a thing that is coming of age, of course, where people can shop at home for anything from underwear to cars. And you can, as long as you're careful, I would recommend that any decent online shopping experience would be done COD.
A COD, okay, cash on delivery?
Yes.
Or some places give a phone number and you can call them.
And that's the way to give the credit card number.
Right, okay, very good. That's a very good tip. We do have to take a quick break, and again, we're talking with McKinley Tabor with the CRISP services in Crossville, Tennessee, which is the Crossville Internet server up there. And we invite you to stay with us as we will talk about some more interesting things on the internet on DayStart. And this portion of DayStart is brought to us by America's Home Place, and Benny Hambrick is the building consultant to call. Call him at 526-6140 or just stop by the Darwin Mall on 25 West Broad in Cookeville. And by the Allergy and Asthma Clinic of the Mid-South, Dr. Albert E. Hensel III can take care of all of those allergy and asthma needs. Call him today at 520-1010. Taking a look at a few sports scores now, is Milwaukee taking Boston 13-11. The White Sox over Cleveland 9-4. Baltimore took the Yanks 9-7, and it was Anaheim defeating Kansas City 7-3. And in the National League, Houston took Cincinnati 5-2. It was Atlanta over Montreal 6-3. Florida took the Mets 5-2. It was the Cubbies defeating the Phillies 5-1. St. Louis blanked Pittsburgh 10-0, and San Diego walloped Colorado 7-1. And as we continue DayStart, again, we do have McKinley Tabor with the CRISP services in Crossville, Tennessee. And McKinley has been telling us about the internet, different services out there, and different people are discovering it. And you were telling us about one grandmother in the Crossville area, and what does she do on the internet?
She has 14 grandchildren, Ward, and she all 14 are in colleges throughout the United States. And what she primarily uses the internet for is to communicate with her grandchildren. Now, as I'm sure most college students watching will know, that with your Tennessee Tech account or Roan State account, you have your own email address. And she utilizes my internet service to communicate with her 14 grandchildren, which are located all the way from Miami to Seattle.
Wow. Okay, and I mean, just think of that poor grandmother. I mean, in the old days, she'd have to sit there and be writing letters and writing letters and writing letters to 14, and if you write them once a week, I mean, my goodness, that would be very time-consuming. Plus, they wouldn't get it till a week later, and now here they are with doing it all instantly. She can talk to all 14 of them every day. I wonder if they get worn out with that.
Well, even with email, you can actually have one message with multiple email addresses. So if she needs to send one broadcast message to everybody, she just types up one message and sends it.
Oh, okay. So she can let everyone know what her
Yeah.
plans are and what's going on. Now, the other key would be to get all of her friends on the internet and have them do the thing where she could send them the pictures of her 14 grandchildren and update them daily, because they can send back their pictures on a daily basis.
Yes.
And then that'll save them the trouble when they meet in the mall of her pointing out her lot and go.
The way technology is evolving, someday you will be carrying. This was in Bill Gates' book, The Road Ahead. You'll actually be carrying around a wallet PC that Bill Gates says now. I only say this because Bill Gates controls most of the world now.
Oh, he rules the world.
Yes.
Everybody wants to rule the world.
Well, to tell you the truth, I was reading a Doonesbury cartoon not too long ago where Windows 95 started and the computer immediately shut down and the printer printed out a list of demands from Bill Gates. So, but no, it's quite conceivable in the near future that you will be carrying a small device that you can do email from, wireless email. You can do wireless web transactions, which the web will evolve into a higher level online information service, and then carry around such things as pictures of your kids to show people. And that day is coming with the Palm Pilot now, with portable computers, with laptops that are getting smaller down to Palm tops. It's a fascinating time to be alive in America right now.
And I imagine the day will come when you can put the device on your head and just look at people, and it sends signals to them, and they pick it up in their head, and everyone just walks around going like that. No,
Well,
that's stretching it a little.
Yeah, someday when we have implants in our brain, I suppose.
Going to the brain implant stage. Okay, now there probably are viewers out there that don't know we're kidding, and we are just kidding. We don't anticipate brain implants at least anytime.
No, not any time in '96 or '97.
Okay, now say a person is considering to join up on the internet, and they've been watching and they've been thinking, because I know people that have been thinking, one of these days I'm going to get a computer. My kids need a computer because everyone else has them, and my kids will get left behind if they don't understand them, which I think is probably true.
In today's world, it really is.
Okay, and if business requires just basic skills on computers, and it's not the same without it. And so they're thinking that, and they're thinking, well, maybe I should get internet too, because everyone seems to be getting on the internet. And so what are some of the things they should keep in mind for that, for selecting an internet service? And you've mentioned a couple of things, but you might give us in one package there.
In two words, go local. You've got to go local with your internet service. You've got to provide, you've got to have a way for them to help you, because you will have problems no matter how good you think you are on the internet. You're going to have problems. You're going to need to talk to somebody. Another issue with the internet is speed. You want a fast modem. Here I'm going to switch into that Greek language. You want to have nothing less than a 14.4 kbps modem, preferably a 33.6, or if your provider offers it, go ISDN. It's the way to go for fast internet transfer.
ISDN?
Integrated Digital Service Network.
And how fast is that? A gazillion?
To give you an idea, 33.6 kbps versus anywhere up to 56 kbps with ISDN transfer.
So it just goes.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then, of course, there's always the higher phone lines such as T1, T3, which operate in the megabit range.
Okay, again, we do need to take a break as we visit with McKinley Tabor of the CRISP Services, which is an internet provider service in Crossville, and we are getting lots of good information here. We will be back in just a minute as we continue with DayStart. And this portion of DayStart is brought to us by All Good Plumbing and Electrical at 5001 North Main in Allgood, Tennessee. And they're the ones that can take care of any kind of problem you have, no matter how large or small, and 1 hour emergency service for those times when you really need it. Call them at 615-537-9230. And by Poor Boys Tackle and Archery, Tim Taylor will be happy to talk to you if you give him a call at 800-400-5447, or just stop by 298 West Broad in Cookeville. Looking at the NBA scores, of course, it was doubles over the Jazz, 97-85, and the Bulls are leading the series for the national championship at 2-2 zip. And as we continue DayStart again, we are talking with McKinley Tabor with the CRISP Services in Crossville, Tennessee, internet provider services up there. And we went out with you saying that if someone's going to get into the internet, the best thing in the world for them to do is go local, so they can pick up a phone and saying, I did this and this and this happened. What does that mean? And because when you first get into it, it's like all these screens come up and tell you all this stuff, and they're all bright and they're all colorful, and it's like, information overload, and you go, what's going on here?
It's all in another language. That's what happens when you first get online, is that it's like learning a completely new language. There are terms like kilobaud. There are terms like www. What's the difference between a web address and an email address? Where to go online. There's terms like online time monitoring. There's server, client. It's just there is a learning curve, and with a local provider, you can help beat that learning curve, because local providers will often provide internet seminars, internet training classes. There are usually local support groups for both new internet users and internet addicts. So whenever you get online, it's important to just realize that it's a whole new world, that there's a lot of information out there to be learned, and not to get frustrated by the overload. Take it one day at a time. Buy a good book, sit down and read it.
Okay, not everyone is a book reader, though some people, like myself, much prefer to pick up the phone and call the expert and say, here's what I got, what does this mean, how do I get myself out of this jam? And it's really kind of hard to get in a jam. You know, I mean, if nothing else, just turn it off and go away.
Yeah. That's probably a great deal of what I do is in my business, as I answer technical support phone calls. I have to deal with people that are just so frustrated with the internet that I can hear their voice tremble over the phone as they want to reach through the line and choke me. And it becomes frustrating at times, but nothing is a better feeling than when you go through and you take a person that knows nothing about the internet and you hold their hand and you walk them through getting online, getting stabilized, you get them off on the web, you show them how to do it, and usually after the first month, I don't speak to my clients again, so you keep contact by sending them an email asking them if they're okay, but it's just the greatest feeling in the world to hand somebody off. It's like being a teacher in a way when you see them graduate onto the internet.
And then you don't hear from them after a month, and you send them email, and they send you back a quick note saying, leave me alone, I'm on the web.
Yes.
You know, you mentioned the new terminology like kilobauds, and I have to let you know that I've had 3 bauds running through my house, and I've killed all 3 of them. I have been successful with that thing. Those are nasty little critters, too. Look a little bit like mice, except they're kind of a greenish color.
It's a hamster derivative, I think.
Yeah, I believe you're right. Those are nasty critters, and I had them in my closet, too. Opened the door, and they fell out on me. They are mean for that. Okay, now, you were mentioning about the Bill Gates thing, if you're walking around with a little computer in your hand and showing pictures of people, and you have one of them. I know you have it in your pocket, because I saw it. And this is exciting. This is the internet of the future.
Free promotional time for U.S. robotics. This is the second generation of a device from second generation of a device from U.S. Robotics. It's called the Palm Pilot. They run generally between 325 and 400. This device right here is a new one of its kind with handwriting recognition. Various items for date book, schedule keeping. It interfaces directly with your PC, and for the people out there in the technical world, the OS on this is completely software based, so if you don't like the way it runs, you can rewrite software for it. There's shareware out on the internet. This is not the end, but the beginning of the new technology that's going to come about in handheld PCs.
And we can just pretend that this pen... it's got
its own.
Well, here, let's pretend, though, that the pen for a second is an antenna. And then so you'll be able to walk around in a mall and push some buttons and connect with internet instantly.
In fact, there are right now from Hewlett-Packard wireless internet.
Man, and you can just push buttons and show your grandchildren.
Right.
Look at this one. Now look at my trip to Singapore. Look at this one. Well, I'll tell you what, it's going to revolutionize being grandparents. McKinley, we do have to take another break, and I think this is the last segment we'll have. It's been a pleasure having you on this morning.
Thank you very much, sir. I've enjoyed being here.
And we've enjoyed the show very much this morning. An interesting field, wide open field. I'd say by 5 years from now, just about everyone will have a PC and be on the internet, because they'll be too far behind if they aren't. 5
years from now, you'll be watching DayStart on your desktop with your coffee at work. That's the way it's going.
I kind of like that. Okay. And it'll be worldwide.
Yeah,
like
exactly.
That. Okay, thank you. Well, very good. Nice little gift you gave me there. Thank you for watching. We do have some special music from T-Bone Nash and Friends, plus we will take our qualifier for the $20 gift certificate for Nick's Restaurant from All Good Plumbing and Electrical Services, coming up next on DayStart. And this portion of DayStart is brought to us by All Good Plumbing and Electrical. They can take care of you in 24 hours for regular service, 1 hour emergency service. Call them at 615-537-9230. and by the Cup and Saucer, one of the best places to eat in downtown Metropolis, Monterey. Call them at 839-6149 or just stop by and get yourself a fine meal.